The official video of the Paris 2024 opening ceremony appears to have been deleted from the Olympics account because of the backlash they've received for making a mockery of the Last Supper. Traditionally, the Olympics embody a spirit of unity, showcasing the best athletes from around the world coming together in a celebration of sportsmanship and international camaraderie. But this time around, the folks running the show in Paris decided to take a detour, downright into blasphemy territory, no less. They thought it'd be a grand idea to stage an opening ceremony featuring a mock-up of the Last Supper. And not just any Last Supper, mind you. This one had drag queens, fashionistas, and all sorts of performers prancing around what looked like a scene straight out of a Vogue magazine. At the heart of this spectacle was a woman donning a golden halo, spinning tracks like she's some kind of celestial DJ, surrounded by a merry band of drag queens. I mean, come on, the audacity to take a moment as profound as Christ's final meal with his disciples and turn it into a runway show. Even Elon Musk chimed in. And y'all know it's serious when Musk gets involved. He called the performance extremely disrespectful to Christians, adding that Christianity has become toothless. And you know what? It's hard to argue with him there. It seems like these days, taking jabs at Christianity is some kind of twisted sport. And it ain't just Musk who's got something to say. Over in Mississippi, a tech firm called C-Spire was so appalled by this mockery that they yanked their ads from the Olympics. Now that's putting your money where your mouth is. Respect to them for standing up against this blatant disrespect. And that's one of the things Christians must learn to do when companies and institutions mock our faith. We need to boycott them. It's high time we took a stand. You see, in a world where everyone's talking about respect and inclusion, it seems Christianity often gets the short end of the stick. If these companies and institutions feel free to mock our faith under the guise of art or entertainment, then it's our duty to respond, not with hatred, but with firmness. Social media's been ablaze too. While some folks praise the artistic vision of inclusion, many are calling out the hypocrisy. Why is it always Christianity that's got to take the hit in the name of art or inclusion? Why mess with something as sacred as the Last Supper? There are a million ways to celebrate diversity without dragging religious figures through the mud. The artistic director, Thomas Jolly, claimed the intention was never to offend, but to include.
My goal wasn't to be subversive, make fun of anyone, or shock people. My goal was simply to say that we're a part of this big we. And last night, we shared ideas around inclusion, kindness, generosity, solidarity.
Is this the new meaning of kindness and solidarity? Buddy, there are ways to include that don't involve stomping on what millions hold sacred. They even pulled the official video from the Olympic account amidst the backlash. That tells you something about how they're handling this hot mess. This ain't just about a failed attempt at being artsy. This is about respect. And from what we've seen, the folks behind the Paris Olympics need a serious lesson in it. It's high time we start demanding that our faith and its symbols be treated with the same respect afforded to others. Oh, let me tell you, my friend, God is not one to be mocked, no sir. Throughout history, many have tried, thinking themselves clever, bold, or revolutionary. But let's get one thing straight. Every knee shall bow, and every tongue will confess that he is Lord. The Almighty isn't just some figure in the sky. He's the ultimate judge, the author of creation, and he holds the final say. You see, folks can play their games, they can scoff, they can turn sacred moments into spectacles for a laugh or a gasp, but God's not in the business of losing. He's been proving scoffers wrong since the dawn of time. Pharaoh thought he could defy God and keep his people in chains. Well, we all know how that sea-splitting episode turned out. Nebuchadnezzar got a lesson in humility he didn't see coming, ended up eating grass like a cow until he recognized who truly rules. And it's not just about ancient times. History is littered with examples. Every time mankind thinks they've outsmarted the divine, they're reminded who's really in charge. God has a way of turning what looks like defeat into a demonstration of his power and glory. Mock him? Go ahead. But it's like spitting in the wind. It's coming right back at you.
This is Bishop Barron. You know, just a few days ago, I was in Indianapolis for the marvelous celebration of the Eucharistic Congress. 50,000 Catholics coming together to worship the Lord and celebrate the real presence of Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament. So I come from that experience and I come home and, you know, I love the Olympics. So I turn on the opening ceremonies of the Olympics. What do I see now? And it's in Paris, France, a city I love. I spent 3 years as a doctoral student there. What do I see but this gross mockery of the Last Supper? And I won't describe it any further. Just go online. It's gone viral. You can see it. But this France felt evidently, as it's trying to put its best cultural foot forward, the right thing to do is to mock this very central moment in Christianity where Jesus, at his Last Supper, gives his body and blood in anticipation of the cross. And so it's presented, though, as this gross, sort of flippant mockery. France, which used to be called the eldest daughter of the church, Paris, that gave us, Thomas Aquinas taught there, and Vincent de Paul was there, King Louis IX, St. Louis, France that sent Catholic missionaries all over the world. France, whose culture, and I mean the honoring of the individual and of human rights and of freedom, is grounded very much in Christianity, felt the right thing to do was to mock the Christian faith. You know, a question I would pose, we all know the answer to it. Would they ever have dared mock Islam in a similar way? Would they ever have dreamed of mocking in this gross, public way, a scene from the Quran? As I say, we all know the answer to that. I think, folks, what's interesting here is this deeply secularist postmodern society knows who its enemy is. They're naming it, and we should believe them. They're telling us who they are. We should believe them.
One day, and it's coming for sure, we'll all stand before that great big awesome throne. Imagine that moment, standing there, giving an account for every word, every deed, and yeah, every disrespectful act. What then? What excuse will hold up in that courtroom? Spoiler, none. That's right, none. It's going to be a day of reckoning like no other. So, while these folks are out here playing fast and loose with what's holy, let's remember the big picture. Let's hold on to our faith, stand firm in our convictions, and live lives that honor him. Because at the end of the day, it's not the applause of the crowd that counts, but the approval of the one who sits on the throne. Let's be clear, God's not mocked because he can't be beaten. And when the dust settles and all these earthly games are over, it's his victory that will last forever. Amen to that.